Hi, I'm Kimi Booth, and today I'm going to show you how to build this VEX IQ standard drive base. First, let's take the time to sort out our supplies. You will need 32 1x1 connector pins. These are the smallest pins in your set. 6 1x2 connector pins. 4 2x2 connector pins. And 4 1-inch standoffs. You also will need 10 shaft collars, 2 1x2 corner connectors, 2 1x2 offset corner connectors, 1 2x8 beam, and as you can see I'm counting out to make sure that it is indeed 2x8, 2 2x3 right angle beams, which should have 4 holes in total, 4 3x5 right angle beams, which should have 7 holes in total, 2 1x6 beams. These beams have 7 holes, 6 36 tooth gears, 2 6-inch metal shafts, 2 4-inch metal shafts, and 2 2-inch plastic shafts, 5 2x12 beams, and again count out to make sure it is indeed 2x12, 1 4x4 plate, 2 200mm smart cables, 2 VEX IQ smart motors, 4 wheel hubs, 4 tires, 1 VEX IQ robot brain, 1 VEX IQ controller, 2 VEX IQ radios, 1 VEX IQ controller battery, and 1 VEX IQ robot battery. You also will need a partner for this activity. One partner will be partner A and the other will be partner B. Step 1. Partner A and partner B will need to each get 6 1x1 connector pins. We also need partner A and B to grab 1 2x12 beam. And again, partner A and partner B in the group grab 1 VEX IQ smart motor. Now, let's sit our smart motor off to the side for a sec. And we want to grab our first 1x1 pin connector and skip over the first hole and go to the second hole and just snap those right in place and push all the way down until you hear a click. It's the fourth one, 5, and now we have all 6 pins in our 2x12 beam. Now I'm going to go ahead and lay my beam back down flat and grab my VEX IQ smart motor, and I'm going to make sure that the opening is facing down the beam and line those two up and just snap them together. Again, make sure that the opening is facing down your beam. So now you should have partner A and partner B with a smart motor connected to a 2x12 beam. Now on to step 2. Partner A and B will need to grab one 36 tooth gear, one shaft collar, and one 4-inch metal shaft. Now, both partners go ahead and grab that motor that you attach to the beam. And first we're going to pick up our 4-inch metal shaft and we're going to count out 3 holes, and then we're going to push the metal shaft right through that third hole. Be sure to take your time and line the shaft up with the hole. Then we're going to grab our 36 tooth gear and we're going to slide that down the shaft. Give it a tug, make sure you hear the nice gear noise, and then grab your shaft collar and put that on top of your gear. Now on to step 3. You will need 2 2x2 connector pins. These are the longest one in your set. 2 1-inch standoffs. Again, partner A and B is doing this at the same time. 1 1x2 offset connector, and notice that the holes are shaped in a triangle. And 1 2x3 right angle beam. Take this time to get all the materials. And now let's bring in the motor beam that we attached in step 2. First, we're going to pick up our right angle beam and our 2x2 connector and put the 2x2 connector in the top hole. Be sure to push it all the way through so that it's sticking out on both sides. Grab your second pin connector and do the same thing right underneath the first one. Again, push it all the way through so that it's sticking out on both sides. Now go to your motor and attach it at the last 2 holes on the 2x12 beam. Now grab your offset corner connector and make sure that the pins are sticking away from the motor and sticking out the opposite end of the beam, and connect those to the end of the pin connector. Now grab your 2 standoffs and go to the opposite end of the beam and put both of those in the last 2 holes at the end of your 2x12 beam. Now time for step 4. Partner A and B will need to grab 2 36 tooth gears, 2 shaft collars, 1 2-inch plastic shaft, make sure it's the plastic one, not the metal one, and 1 6-inch metal shaft. Now bring your gear and beam back into the picture and remove one of the gears, the metal shaft, and one of the collars. Now grab your 2-inch plastic shaft and count to the second hole and put your plastic shaft right through the middle. Now grab your gear and place your gear on top of that shaft. Push it all the way down till it comes through. Now you can grab your collar and put that on top and push that through as well. Now you want to grab your gear and make sure you hear that gear noise again. So keep turning it until you hear it. And now we're ready to get our second gear and also grab the shaft, the 6-inch metal one, and the shaft collar. And we're going to count out another 2 holes. Go ahead and pick up that 6-inch metal shaft and push that all the way through. Grab your gear, slide that on top, and then go ahead and grab the shaft collar and put that on top of the gear. Now you'll notice that your shaft is sticking out some, and that's perfectly fine. And the reason why we keep twisting the gear is just to make sure nothing fell out. So now we can move on to step 5. For step 5, grab your 2x12 beam. Again, this is partner A and B doing this, and you want to count them out to make sure you have a 2x12. Go ahead and grab your gear that you just made in step 4 and pick up your 2x12 beam and place it directly on top of your gears. Notice that I am in the 3rd hole, so I counted 1, 2, 3 from one end and 1, 2, 3 from the other end, and then I snapped it all the way down. Okay, by now partner A and B in the group should have 2 gearbox completed. Now time for step 6. Partner A and B will need to grab 2 wheel hubs, 2 tires, and 2 shaft collars. Now, first, let's take away 1 tire, 1 shaft collar, and 1 wheel hub, and leave 1 in front of us on the table. Now, grab the wheel hub, and first we want to make sure that the hollow part is facing out. If you look onto the tires, they have words on it, and we want the hollow part facing out towards the words on the tire. And just push that back until it's a nice fit. And now we have a wheel. So now grab your gearbox and your tire and place it on top of our metal shaft. Push that all the way back into our beam and secure it with the shaft collar. Now, let's put that to the side. Let's grab our second wheel hub and our second tire, and we're going to do the same thing we did to the first one, making sure the hollow part is facing out towards the letters, and push it back into the tire. Now grab out your gearbox and place your tire on your second open shaft and push it all the way back until it touches the beam. And grab your shaft collar and put that right on top. Now I'm just going to adjust the hub on top of the tire because it came off a little bit. But now if you look at both angles, you should see the 6-inch metal shaft sticking out on the opposite side. That is perfectly okay. You can leave that there. Now, partner A and partner B, you can place both of your gearboxes next to each other and just double check that they are both identical. on to step 7. From this point forward, partner A and B will work together as a group to finish building their drive base. Partner A can grab 4 1x1 pin connectors, while partner B grabs 4 1x2 pin connectors. You'll also need 2 1x2 corner connectors and 2 3x5 right angle beams. Make sure you count those holes out so that you have 7 holes in total. And lastly, you'll need 1 2x8 beam. Again, I'm counting the holes out, so there's 8 across and 2 down. Now partner A and partner B will each grab 1 3x5 right angle bar and 2 connector pins, and make sure they're both facing each other the way I have it here on the screen. The first connector pin goes in the third hole and the second connector pin goes in the first hole. And then partner B, you'll do the same thing to yours. Put one in the third hole and one in the first hole. Now both partners put both of your 3x5 beams next to each other to make sure that they are identical. Now grab your 2x8 beam and turn your 3x5 right angle beams upside down. Partner A, you grab 2 of the 1x2 connector pins, and partner B, you do the same thing. So first we're going to let partner A grab one of the 1x2 connector pins and place the long end down in the first hole into the 2x8 beam. And do the same thing with the second pin. Now partner B, you'll follow up with partner A by placing both of your connector pins down into the 2x8 beam. Now partner A, grab your 3x5 right angle beam and you want to place that directly against the 2x8 beam and press your 1x2 connector pin all the way through until it is holding the right angle beam in place. Once partner A is finished, partner B, you will grab your right angle beam and do the same thing to the other side. Now you should have a 2x8 beam connected to a 3x5 right angle beam. Now partner A, grab your 1x2 corner connector and partner B, do the same thing. And you want the pins to be facing out away from the structure. And you're going to snap both of those on to the structure you already made. So now when you stand it up, only thing you should see are 4 connector pins sticking out of the 3x5 right angle beam. Step 8. Partner A, you will need to grab your gearbox, and partner B, you will do the same thing. And for this step, you will also need the structure that you just created in step 7. So first, we're going to start with partner A. You're going to grab your gearbox and the structure that you just made, and you're going to count out 2 columns away from the shaft. 1, 2, and we're going to grab our structure, making sure that the blue pins are facing towards the motor and the black pins are facing towards the wheel, and we're going to snap that right in place. Again, notice the blue pins are facing towards the motor. Now partner B, you're going to grab your gearbox and do the same thing partner A did and count out 2 columns from the metal shaft and snap the corner connector onto your gearbox. So now our robot is starting to look more like an actual drive base. Again, notice that all 4 of the connector pins should be facing towards the back of the drive base. On to step 9. Again, for this step, partner A and B will work together, so you will only need 8 1x1 connector pins that both partner A and B will count out and share together. You'll need one 4x4 plate and one 2x12 beam. Here you see me counting out the holes, making sure again that I have the correct beam. There should be 2 across and 12 down. Now, sit that 2x12 beam to the side. In partner A, you can grab 4 of the 1x1 connector pins and place them in the bottom row of the 4x4 pleat. Partner B, get ready. Now, once partner A is done, you will follow up by placing your 4 1x1 connector pins in the second row of the 4x4 pleat. Now that is completed, one of the partners can grab the 2x12 beam and place it directly on top of the 4x4 pleat. You want to make sure it's centered, so there should be 4 open holes on each end of the 2x12 beam. Make sure that none of the connector pins are sticking out past the beam. Time for step 10. Partner A and B, you will need to together get 4 1x1 pin connectors, 2 3x5 right angle beams, I'm counting them out and making sure that there are 7 holes there. And you can bring in the structure that you just created in the last step. Now, turn the beam over so that the 2x12 beam is against the table and the plate is sticking up in the air. You are going to share the pieces with each other. So partner A should have 2 1x1 connector pins and partner B should have 2 1x1 connector pins. Now, let's count to the third hole, and we're going to put 1 1x1 connector pin in the top row and 1 in the bottom row. Partner B, you're going to do the same thing. Count to the third hole and put 1 1x1 connector pin in the top and 1 1x1 connector pin in the bottom. Now, each partner grab 1 3x5 right angle beam and make sure that they're both facing towards each other. And then you're going to place that 3x5 right angle beam on top of your structure so that again both of the beams are pointed towards each other. Now when you lift up your beam, you should have again no connector pins sticking out of the structure. Step 11. Partner A and B, you are going to work together to get 4 1x1 connector pins, and 2 1x6 beams. This beam you'll need to count out to make sure that you have 7 holes on the beam. Now it's time to share the pieces. Partner A, you will grab 2 of the 1x1 pin connectors and 1 of the 1x6 beams, and partner B, you will do the same thing. The first 1x1 connector pin will go in the second hole, and the second will go in the bottom hole. Both partners' beams should look identical to each other. Now grab your structure that you made in the previous step and flip it over so that the plate and the angle are sitting against the table. Each partner grab your 1x6 beam and place the 2 connector pins in the bottom 2 holes of the 3x5 right angle beam. Once the first partner is done, now the second partner can go and snap it right in place. And now you have a structure that resembles a field goal post. Again, there should be no connector pins sticking out past the structure. Step 12. One of the partners will need to get 2 1x1 connector pins while the other grabs 2 1x2 connector pins. You will also need to get your cart that you already made and 1 VEX IQ robot brain. You can place your cart to the side for now and bring in your structure that you just made in the previous step, and you want to lay it down so that the 2x12 beam is against the table. Now, one of the partners will first grab 1 connector pin and place it in the furthest hole on the 3x5 right angle beam, while the second partner will place another 1x1 connector pin on the 3x5 beam on the other side. Now grab your 1x2 connector pin and place the long end directly through the 3x5 right angle beam so that it connects to the 1x6 beam. And do the same thing to the other side. You should now have 4 connector pins sticking out of one side of your structure. Now grab your VEX IQ robot brain and make sure that you have numbers 1 through 6 facing towards the structure, and you're going to notice the beam on the bottom of the robot brain, and you're going to line your structure up with the robot brain and snap it directly against it so that it's flat. Now grab your cart and line it up so that the 4 connector pins are facing numbers 7 through 12, and you're going to snap those into place as well. Once you have all 4 of the 1x1 connector pins together, turn the drive base around and notice you have 2 of the black corner connectors in the back that will need to connect to the 2x12 beam. Once you have those snapped in place, you have now completed your VEX IQ standard drive base. Now time to connect the cables. Step 13. You will need 2 200mm smart cables. Partner A, you grab one of the smart cables, and partner B, you grab the other. One of the cables will go into port 1 while the other will go into port 6. Partner A, you put yours into port 6 first, And then partner B, you put your cable into port 1. The smart cables will connect underneath the VEX IQ robot brain to the motors. Now, if you have fingers that are a little bit too large to fit in the space, you can detach your structure and then tuck the smart cable under to connect it to the motors. This is not an easy step. It will take some time, so if you don't get on the first time, do not be discouraged. Just keep calm and build on. Once you get the first one on, go ahead and snap that one side back together. And then to get the other side, just detach the structure from the gears. And then you should be able to get the cable in the right spot. Again, be sure to take your time and not to pull too hard on the drive beads. There. Once it's in, go ahead and put your robot back together. Again, the corner connectors go into the second hole from the shaft. And now you're ready to connect your controllers. Step 14. You will need 2 VEX IQ radios, 1 VEX IQ controller battery, 1 VEX IQ robot battery, and 1 VEX IQ controller. You'll also need the Phillips head screwdriver to remove the casing from the back of the controller. One of the partners grab one of the radios and place it into the open slot on top of the VEX IQ robot brain. Once that is done, grab your VEX IQ robot battery and you want to turn it upside down so that the words are facing up, and you're going to slide it right underneath of the VEX IQ robot brain. You may have to remove the wheel. Be sure not to jam it in there. Just take your time and it will slide into place. Now, grab your VEX IQ robot controller, 1 VEX IQ radio, and 1 VEX IQ controller battery. Turn your controller over and using your Phillips head screwdriver, unscrew the case on the back. Once you get the case off, grab your VEX IQ controller battery and slide it in so that the words are facing up. You can now place your case back on top and grab your screwdriver and screw it back in place. Once the case is tightened, you can grab your VEX IQ radio and place it in the slot in the back of your VEX IQ controller. This last step is only for people who are just using their VEX IQ set for the first time, or if for some reason your controllers aren't connected anymore. You will need the blue VEX IQ tether cable, and you will plug it into the Ethernet port on the side of your VEX IQ brain. You will plug the other end of the VEX IQ tether cable into your controller. Once both of those are snapped into place, you will now turn on your VEX IQ robot. To do so, you will select the check on the VEX IQ brain and also hit the power button on the VEX IQ controller. On the screen, you should see driver control and autonomous. You're going to select driver control by pressing the check, and then you're going to select run by pressing the check again. Now, play with the controller to make sure that the program is in fact running and you're getting motion from your controller to your drive base. Once you are done, remove the VEX IQ tether cable. Turn your robot off by holding down the X button. Then turn your VEX IQ controller off by holding the power button until the light goes out. Now when you turn your VEX IQ controller and your VEX IQ drive base back on, the controller and the robot should be paired to each other. So now if you play with your controller, you should be able to drive the robot without the tether cable. Thanks for watching. To see more cool robotics projects and other STEM activities, follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/KimiBooth. Also, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. In the next video, I will show you how to program VEX IQ robots.